with no game in week one, how has that changed your preparation or camp, and how different has it been for you?
Yeah, it's been extremely different, Rob. This is the first time I can remember we're going to have 2 full weeks of class because class starts today without having a game. So, I mean, if you look back just as recent as last year, we would have opened up this coming Thursday. And now we have to wait a whole nother week. As you said, losing that game against Morgan State and having that come off schedule. Now we don't open till week 2 of the season. So, don't remember ever waiting this long. So, basically what it did is it gave our team and our strength staff an opportunity to get in their 8 week of summer access training. And then instead of having anywhere from 0 to 4 days off in between from when that session ended to when we report for preseason camp, our team had 10 days off. So they all returned back safely, which I was a little concerned about. And, we didn't get any calls from afar when they were gone for that long. So it seems like we got through that 10-day transition pretty well. And now we're in preseason camp, but we're out of the 25 allowable practice days. We got 9 more to go. So, we're breaking preseason camp, but still have 2 weeks of class left. So it was a shorter preseason from that schedule's perspective, with having your practices and your meetings and walkthroughs without worrying about class. But now we have, first day of class today. So today's their day off for this week. And they'll get a second day off this week later on Saturday. So it's been different. It's been different, but I think we've navigated it pretty well. So we'll see what the end result becomes in a couple weeks.
Have you done anything that additional scrimmages? I'm sure those guys are tired of seeing each other and wish they were doing that. Have you done anything else to maybe add some more? I'm sure your practices are very competitive already, but to add something different to them.
Yeah, we've probably done a little more tackling circuit drills than maybe we have in the past, just to, evaluate some of the newer guys and some of the younger guys. But as far as preseason practice, when you chop it up and you have your 25 days, and basically we have our schedule that we've kind of been following, regardless of what year it's been. It's just different this year because we're going to be in class longer than the normal preseason schedule would take. So, but no, I mean they are anxious to play against someone else. We haven't broken the scout team yet, so we're still going a lot of good on good. So from that perspective, it's been competitive, like you said, but it's also been guys chomping at the bit to play a different opponent as opposed to their current teammates.
Let's break down your team a little bit, and we'll start on offense. And then offense always starts at the quarterback spot, it seems. And you had a veteran guy for a while in Connor Watkins. Now you've got some newcomers battling for the job. How's that battle gone?
Yeah, it's going well. I mentioned it post spring and into the summer. Tanner Maddox has been basically Connor's backup for the last 3 years. So he's been in our system and been with Coach Bowden and his guys over there, for the last 3 years. And then we did bring in a grad transfer, Pat McQuaid from Nicholls State. And it seems to be those two right now are getting the majority of the reps with the ones. And, they're splitting it pretty much 50-50. And we're trying to, take it in. We'll probably make a decision sometime later this week. As I said, we'll be heading into scout team periods here shortly. We haven't broke to that yet. But once we do that, we'll probably, change the rotation a little bit. Right now, those guys are alternating with the starting line and those guys for the bulk of preseason camp right now. And it seems to be those two. It's going to look like it's going to be one of those two by the time we get to the opener.
One of the things that you've had the luxury of over the last several years is a lot of depth at your running back spot, and you've got some returnees back up front. While you're breaking in a new quarterback, is that running game going to be sort of the focus to at least early on?
Well, Coach Bowden's style and our offensive staff, we like to be as balanced as we possibly can anyway. So, in regardless of what quarterback comes out on top, he's going to have to be able to execute everything that Coach Bowen and the staff want to do. But yes, it always helps when you have all 5 returning linemen, which we do from a year ago, and all 3 of our primary running backs. We have, we only have one new running back in freshman Tyler Womack, but with Abbott and Ragland and Mace and Eli Smith and Julian Glantz and Zay Wright. All those guys were in the room last year. So those will be the guys that you'll be seeing again this year. So yeah, that'll help take a little bit pressure off the quarterback if we can establish the run game. But we want to do that anyway, whether Connor is here or not. Connor was just a little more comfortable on some of those RPOs. There was times he probably should have handed it off and he didn't, to be honest, Rob. So, we're going to run our offense and do what we do. And, quarterback, no matter who it is, we just need them to manage what we're asking them to do. We don't need them to go out there and, drop back 50 times a game and win it for us.
On defense, you guys have been one of the top teams in the CAA for I think every year you've been there, it seems like. You've got a few holes to fill, but there's some familiar faces as well. How do you feel that group is coming together?
Yeah, we feel pretty good on defense. They do seem like they're coming together. The holes to fill are primarily in the secondary. We did lose a couple guys. One guy up front, Chucky Smith from a year ago, was a good player for us on the D line. Obviously, Brendan Bell, second team All American linebacker for us. But we have Hartzell, Kimmel, Inge, a bunch of guys back. So our front two levels, we have a lot of experience coming back. We got Aiden Howard, we got Obina Wobodo, two sixth-year D linemen, along with Capri Martin, and then some good young guys coming up with Nigel McSween. So we have a lot of guys at the D line and linebacker level that have a decent amount of experience and have played a lot of football for us. The back end, we had household names like Trin and Potter and Goodman and Waxter, those guys, and Mims. Those guys are the ones that have moved on. So, but because of a little bit of injury we had last year, we did get quite a few young guys like Zamir Dawu and Newton Essiom and Bostic. We did get a lot of guys with some experience in the back end. So now it's their turn to fill in the voids that was left by those fourth and fifth and sixth year DBs that we had for all those years. So it seems like the DBs are coming together. We've moved some guys around to try to see what the best combination is at safety and corner. But we do have some decent depth. We just don't have a lot of experience in the back end right now.
How much is that? It seems like communication, especially on the back end, is critical for those guys. Is that the toughest part of trying to figure out who to blend there?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Christian Sapp is a senior. He's a fifth year guy, so he has played quite a bit for us. So he's, handling one of the safety spots and he's doing some calls. So he's been around. Zamir Dawu, who played a lot for us last year, he's a corner. So those guys are communicating well with the guys like Newton and DeMille and all the other guys that are working in there. Garrett Rogan's a guy who really had a nice camp so far. So he's a junior in the classroom. Actually, he's going into his senior year, but he's a junior on the field. He did redshirt. So there's some guys back there, and we have some good length back there. We just don't have the vast game experience in the back end right now that we have because we've been spoiled with all those names I mentioned on the front of this conversation. They played, I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to look it up, but because of the extra year and Jalen Goodman getting the sixth year, I think he broke a record for games started for a Villanova football player. I know we had guys that were up around 53 and 54 games started over their careers. I think he eclipsed that this past year. So that's a lot of experience you had in the back end that we lost. So young guys got to step up. No matter what you have coming back from one year to the next, it's never going to be the same. So we're excited about the youth we have back there, along with the Hartzell and the Wobodos and all the guys we have in the front two levels. But I'm sure there'll be some growing pains like there always is early in any season. So we'll have to go in there and just the key for us, as it always will be, is hopefully we can stay healthy.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for taking time with us